Hey, everybody. Hey, Gage, I'm on. Everybody can hear me? All right, we're going to get started up again. Just out of respect for everybody's time, I want to thank you for coming again. Glad everybody is getting a bite to eat, and seems like we have plenty of seats, so we're good. So with that, I want to bring up IBM and Datorama, and it's going to be Akesh, Rob, and Katrin. And I always talk to presenters before they come up and I say, hey, what do you want me to say? And in this case, I really didn't need any help because, you know, from my perspective, IBM is one of the smartest companies in the world, and that they're leveraging Datorama to succeed is a phenomenal data strategy story that they're going to share with you. So we're going to bring them up in about 30 seconds. A couple of people stopped me and just asked me to just mention A&A benefits for those of you who are not familiar. So beyond the conferences, the Marketing Knowledge Center, we had a meeting yesterday. There are 15 hyper-local chapters of the A&A where you can leverage assets that way, kind of feet on the street. And if you're not, I don't know if Linda Bruner is here. I didn't see her. We also have a dedicated B2B committee and dedicated B2B members-only conferences, training. So there's a whole host of things. If you're not familiar with them, you can see me during the course of the conference, and the A&A has a table set up. But if you are a member, you want to increase the ROI on that membership. Most of those are complimentary benefits. So without further ado, let's bring up IBM and Datorama.
Do not know who I am, but still know that I'm good long as you're here with me.
Thank you so much for the great introduction. And before we get started, most important things first. Like we say in my first language, bon appétit. During this session, we're going to talk to you about how wrapping your head around your marketing performance changes your day-to-day as a marketing department. And we're going to do that together. I'll let you guys introduce yourself.
Hi, I am Akesh Bhalla. I lead data strategy and reporting in Marketing Analytics Group at IBM.
Hi, I'm Rob Edelman. I also work in analytics and data at IBM, working with our paid media and advertising analytics groups.
And I'm Katrin Ribant. I'm the CSO and one of the co-founders at Datorama, an intelligence for marketing platform. And so what is intelligence for marketing? It's the ability for you as marketing departments to understand how your money is moving across your supply chain and understand how your marketing budgets are performing to drive growth for your company. And that's basically we're going to show you with the IBM example in a minute. First of all, why is that important? So really what we're looking at is the three big challenges of marketing today. The first challenge is transparency. So I know transparency is a word that is really used a lot in the industry. What we really mean by transparency here is understanding, as a marketer, being entrusted with a percentage of the revenue of your company to basically drive growth for your company. How do you track and understand as far as possible, as much as possible, close to real time, how that budget is performing for your company? How do you understand where the money is being spent, what results are being driven across your regions, your business units, your products, your channels, obviously, and all of your KPIs together, obviously within your department, but also with all of your stakeholders and partners. And how can you drive operating cadences that allow you to make decisions based on that data, so you can decide where you're going to allocate your budget for it to drive the growth of your company in the best way possible, as fast as real time as possible. And that's basically our second challenge, which is speed. We all know as marketers that by the time we generally get to the data about our campaigns, the campaign is done. We don't have time to optimize anymore. That is really a crucial factor, is gaining insights across your marketing performance at a cadence that allows you to actually make the decisions to be able to optimize your marketing performance. All of that, of course, is to drive growth for your business, because that's ultimately what we are entrusted with as marketers, is drive growth for our companies. Now, that challenge has always been there for marketing, but I think it really has become a much larger challenge nowadays because we do not choose how consumers interact with us as brands. We have to talk to consumers on the channels they choose, and that means executions is really complex. On average, a marketer has to execute across 20 to 30 execution platforms in order to be able to reach consumers where they are. That creates a real challenge to understand where your money is spent and how you're performing across all of those challenges. That's why, basically, what we need to do is connect to those ad management platforms, integrate the data, put it together in a way that it can actually drive insights that make sense for your business. So insights that are relative to entities that you're going to optimize in your business. What budget am I allocating to which region? How does product XYZ perform? And understand how you can then act upon that in order to optimize your marketing campaigns while you are still within the time frame where you can actually do that. That is ultimately what allows you as a marketing department to install an operating cadence that allows you to control your destiny and your performance across your stakeholders and all of your partners. Whether you're executing everything internally or with agencies, you can collaborate around a source of truth to make decisions. And ultimately, that is also what enables you to trust your choices in terms of marketing stack and ad tech stack, trust the ecosystem that you have built for your execution, and know which piece is working and which piece isn't working. Now, obviously as marketers, we are in a web of stakeholders and partners, and we have to find ways to share information in order to collaborate and make decisions across a shared version of the truth. And so that's basically what IBM is going to talk to us about. Let me pass you the clicker.
Thank you, Katrin. And to start our case study, I'd like to take you back about 18 months to a small story. Our new CMO had joined, Michel Peluso, and our head of marketing analytics was going for his first meeting with Michel. He had his whole deck prepared, all the great work we are doing in marketing and marketing analytics, and he was stopped on his very first slide by Michel. He said, hold on, I just have 3 simple questions. What's the ROI of marketing spend? How do I spend my next dollar? And how do we make every decision a data-driven decision? Look like simple questions, right? Well, these are very hard questions for marketers to answer. And when we step back and think about a complexity of IBM, ROI of marketing spend, well, some of the teams within IBM could answer that. But as Katrin mentioned, harmonizing. We didn't have global standards. In fact, 2 years ago, and I've been in this role for almost 4 years with marketing analytics, if you asked me how many people are coming to marketing pages or specific brand pages within IBM and engaging with us, I couldn't tell you that answer for IBM. Every team was measuring it differently. So answering that question at IBM level was very, very difficult for us. How do I spend next dollar? Many of our firms have very wide portfolios. IBM, on one hand, sells $10 monthly subscription for some of our cloud business, and we also sell billions of dollars of multi-year outsourcing deals. When marketing gets extra money, where do we spend? Not an easy question again. And how do we make every decision a data-driven decision? Well, for a 20-person marketing team, that may be an easy thing to do, or a challenge that you can undertake. We have 5,000 marketers in 170 countries. Again, not an easy task for IBM. So we took this as challenge. focused on 3 objectives: build a management system. We couldn't have done it by just building one tool or one dashboard. We had to build a management system to make sure that marketers are getting access to that insight and analytics and earn business trust. We heard from John in the first presentation, trust. And here are some results. Last year alone, we improved our campaign efficiency by over 20%. On flat marketing spend, we contributed more to IBM top line. Our 5,000 marketers now have access to all of this analytics and data in real time in one place. And I'm going to be a risk taker later today and going to show you that system live. I hope it works. And lastly, with all this insight, all this transparency, we were able to get trust from other functions, from sales, from finance, to the extent that they allocated more marketing dollars to us this year. So gaining trust, building trust, we were able to do that. And of course, you mentioned earlier, we won ANA Genius Award and some external recognition as well. Well, thanks ANA for that. But these are some of the results. So how did we start our journey? Let me invite Rob to get us started.
Let me ask everyone here a question. Who is scared or intimidated by the depth of your organization's data? All right, a lot of us, right? Well, let me walk you through my nightmare. You can imagine a business like IBM, incredibly diversified, a lot of verticals, a lot of uniqueness within the different units. One of the first things that we did to answer those questions was realize, regardless of the technology out there, we had to create and our own data strategy. Because of that intimidation and the depth and complexity of our data, we had previously, first-party data, we have a good handle on that. Sales, CRM, we have really good data collection, but third-party advertising, media data, we really license that to our agency. Partly because it's complex, partly because it's hard to manage all the different platforms, and partly because we just didn't really know, how much uniqueness we had out there in the market. So in order for us to take kind of that strategy back and bring it all together, we had to create our own vision and really start with designing and owning our own data strategy. And it wasn't about us wrestling control back from our agency. We actually really like our agency. In many ways, this initiative helped us get closer to our agency. But we realized we needed help. And so to give you a taste of where we were and what the landscape was, we had siloed data acquisition by geography, by marketing channel, by account, and even some sub-account categorization there too. Very decentralized instances. It wasn't the same in any geography. We would have a couple of accounts for one business unit in Europe or in Germany, in the UK. We would have 30 in the US. So it was really all over the map. And the way that we received this data before working with Datorama was very inconsistent. We would get files passed to us, actual hard files that we would have to reconcile, and these were in orders of hundreds and even pushing 1,000 different files that we would have to manage. Beyond that, we actually just had a lot of different data sources. You all know and are all very aware of the options that you have to market on third-party websites and other digital spaces to attract and broadcast to your customers. And so we had a pretty big task at hand, and was my personal nightmare for about a year to figure out how do we get this all together. So we took a very logical and practical approach. First, we said, okay, let's pilot this work in the most complex market that we have, our most mature market from an advertising standpoint, here at home in North America. Phase 2, we decided, okay, some things worked. We don't have it all figured out, but we know enough now to start going out and getting more data in some of our other key markets in Europe. And so we focused on some other priority markets where we have significant amount of ad spend already out there in the market. Then we got better both in phase 1 and in phase 2, and we said, you know what? Let's do this everywhere. Let's get this global deployment up. And now we have the system running in all of our markets that we operate. One of the biggest challenges for us was managing different priorities. again, what we wanted to do was drive consistent conversations throughout the business. We had instances of reporting that would do one thing for someone who wanted to look at a web page, someone who wanted to look at their offers, someone who wanted to look at their campaign in totality. And we said, you know what, there's a lot of priorities here. For us to really manage consistent conversations across the business, we need to make sure we manage these priorities appropriately. So it became a balancing act. How do we manage what's a priority for local teams in each individual market versus the global CMO level? And so we created instances with Datorama's help to organize and stack the information that we were getting in to be able to connect to different places outwardly within our own data infrastructure and organization so that we can answer all of these questions. I can't stress this enough. Regardless of who and what MarTech companies that you are working with, in order to make the most use out of the MarTech dollars that you're spending on, you really need to have good coordination and partners who really understand your business. You can see here we have a big data standard foundation. No surprise, at IBM, we place a high value on data. But we had information coming from tons and tons of sources. And in many ways, we needed this information to be brought in to our work with Datorama to make sense of the data that's coming from the third-party advertisers as well. So we had to bring all of this together, and we put significant resource against bringing together thousands of data sources, all these global stakeholders, really, really strong and tight coordination with our agency and a partnership there to really get a full picture of ROI. Okay. So, yeah. What this really enabled us to do, though, was to drive a management system now that's built on a solid data strategy on top of a solid data foundation. And Akesh, you're going to walk us through what this looks like.
Thanks, Rob. And this is our management system. As I said, it's not one tool, one dashboard. It's how we work today, starting all the way from our CMO level. So the capital allocation decisions, which campaigns get funding, which campaigns get extra money versus less money. That's happening in what we call marketing top sheet. Our campaign teams, these cross-functional teams, agile teams, they start evaluating their campaigns and looking at opportunities for improvement in end-to-end funnel. And then specialists access diagnostic views to answer the question why, and access to some of the industry-leading tools like Medallia, Hotjar, Optimizely for testing in one single platform. And all of this is built on a single data foundation, so the numbers are always linked. And it's available in Perl. So what I want to do right now is to take you into 3 rooms at IBM. A CMO meeting room where the CMO review is going on, a campaign review, and a specialist room. And over the next probably about 5 to 7 minutes, show you a live demo of how the discussions are happening. Okay, my colleague Stefan is going to help me out from there. Okay, well, this is Perl. We start with the CMO room, marketing top sheet. All of our weekly CMO reviews start here. You're going to see IBM, the top level, IBM performance, money that's being spent in the market, what's delivering, all the way to business results. It's a conversation always about business results. The question, if you remember from Michelle, was ROI, right? We could have solved it in a very complicated manner, but we took inspiration from stock market. All of us invest in various instruments. We could balance risk and reward. Well, this is our ROI-based management system. The efficiency, or the ROI, is on x-axis, and the contributions on y-axis. Every brand CMO, when they come in for the corporate CMO review, this is where they start. What's working? Some of our brands like systems and security, they are doing better. They get more money. Some of the brands which are on the left-hand side, they don't. And some of the strategic initiatives, they don't get any extra funding until they optimize. So the ones in the middle. And let's take an example of security brand. So we are moving from our corporate CMO to brand CMO now. The same system built on the same data foundation is used now at the brand CMO level to manage her capital allocation for security. Pardon our speed, some of this is live. Okay. Now, we're going from IBM level to security brand and the products within brand. These are the campaigns. Our Mass 360 or the mobile enterprise campaign, it's doing well. Detect threats, QRadar product is doing better. Some of our in profession targeted, CISO targeted campaigns are not doing so well. So not only at the corporate CMO level, we are having these hard conversations. At every level, the management is having those conversations. Why should you get next quarter funding? Can we allocate more dollars to what's working? And let's get down to a single campaign. Oh, before that, let's look at the contribution. Every brand CMO is looking at where it's working, which geography it's working, and when we get to a campaign level, we can get down to even a country level. Yeah. Thanks, Stefan. So we moved from IBM level to a single campaign now. Hundreds of $1 million to a few $1 million, a live campaign in market. Which geographies are getting the contribution and can get down to a single country. Let's see. Something happening in even Angola and Azerbaijan if you want to. And then we look at the performance of this campaign over time. Week on week, is it working better or worse? It's moving in the top right direction. It's doing better. Now, this is where the CMO level discussions are happening. Capital allocation is happening. Now we step to the other room where campaign teams are meeting and discussing. And we call our campaign teams diamond teams. These diamond teams include campaign managers, product marketers, content strategists, digital specialists, analytics specialists. They are all sitting in the same room looking at the same set of numbers every week. And in an agile fashion, they're trained to just ask two simple questions. Where am I today, and what's one thing that I would like to change tomorrow? They pick one aspect of the campaign, work on it, come back, look at the performance. And it's available all the time to them. Let's look at this campaign. It's one single campaign on page. At the top, we have campaign funnel in a more detailed manner. The cost gives us efficiency metrics with benchmarks, conversion rates. Very quickly, you can see what's working, what's not working. This campaign is generating better quality leads, what we call responses at IBM. But the engagement rate is not that good. Well, if they can bump up their engagement rate on digital channel, they could do much better. Let's move to the digital strategist and media specialist room, where they are looking at much more detailed manner. So now we are down to a few hundred thousand dollars, 1 month spent. And again, all of this is live. What's happening with, on a daily basis, where the money is being spent, what's working, what's not working, down to a media channel, a vendor, and we can get down to a single ad. So the teams have access to information they can optimize down to a single ad. Working with our agency, working with our data partners like Datorama. And what happens when we click on an ad? Come to our web page. This is our web page for this campaign. Well, it has some offers, it has some analyst papers. Teams can also look at the page performance. Where is the traffic coming from? How much is organic? How is that working out? And heat maps, where our users are hovering over. What are they clicking? What are they not clicking? Are we getting the right attention? And down to a single user replay. This is one person from UK using Firefox browser, probably looking for some information, didn't like our CTA, trying to get to an analyst paper, and probably gave up. What did we just do in the last 5 minutes? Went from marketing top sheet at the corporate CMO level down to one user replay. This is accessible to all IBM marketers worldwide. So this is what we built, and this is combined with the management system that the teams meet regularly, teams review their performance, and when they start optimizing pages, they start optimizing experiences, their performance improves, their bubble moves to the right, they get more money. And this whole thing is completely transparent. All the way from our CMO, Michelle, to our newest hire in Bratislava can access this. They can see what our CMO is looking at. Now, was this a bit too much? Overwhelming? Well, that's what we heard from many of our marketers once we started rolling this out. And we built Pearl. So Pearl is one destination. Our marketers don't have to think about which tool to use, where to go. They have one destination, and the best feature I like about Pearl personally is the search. I don't have to remember the tool that I'm going for. Want to look for an audience? Just search. Want to look at content performance? Search. Look at NPS for our Net Promoter Score, Medallia, which is an external tool, accessible here. All of this is available in one place. Very easy to access and available to the marketers. And because we were able to build this data foundation, now we can apply some of the newer technologies like AI on top of this. So you see at the top, there is an alert. For this particular campaign, the AI system has analyzed the data and alerting you what is relevant for you today. When our marketers log in, they have that available to them. Why is this alert there? What's happening? All that. So that is Pearl, and the results are in front of you. But what we believe worked in our favor are these three things. Transparency, not just within marketing, but outside marketing. This system is accessible to everyone in IBM, actually. Our finance teams, our finance leaders have gone in, our sales leaders have gone in and seen the performance. Strong management support. The behavior doesn't change if we just deliver visibility to performance. The behavior changes when we start moving things around. By moving investments around, a very different message went to all the marketers worldwide. And simplicity and intuitive user experience. Could have made it very complicated as we go down to from corporate CMO level to campaign team to specialist. There is more data. We can't run away from it. There are more tools. That's the nature of our function today. But how do we set it up so you can actually use it and benefit from it? And those were key factors. And if that was overwhelming, we built an app around it. All you need to do is ask a question. how many Engage visits did security get in Germany last week? The system is going to take a few seconds. Hope it works.
Last week, the total engaged visits for the security business unit in Germany was 329.
So if after this, the teams are not using the data, the analytics, there is no excuse for them. Right? Well, there's another excuse. They don't get any funding if their performance is not improving. This is IBM's story.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, everybody, that concludes the morning session. I thought we had two great events. We're going to start next door at 1 o'clock, so you might want to get in there and get your seats early based on what happened here this morning. And if you need anything over the course of these 3 days, go to the registration desk or just look for me and we'll help you out. And the presentations, if they're available, will be on ana.net in the Marketing Knowledge Center in about a week or two. Thank you all. Thank you very much.